Monday, January 13th, 2020. Would you stand for the pledge and a moment of silence, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Thomas, roll call.
Certainly. Mr. Delaney?
Here.
Mr. Dern?
Here.
Mr. Doyle?
Here.
Mr. Hadley?
Here.
Mr. Odom?
Present.
Mr. Pastor?
Here.
Mr. Vento?
Here.
Mayor Schlegel?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Excellent. Motion to approve the treasurer's report for the month of December.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Doyle.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Vento. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve the expenses for the month of December. Mr. Thomas, if you would, please.
Payables for the general fund requiring council approval, $801,183.18. Street improvement fund payables requiring council approval, $12,392.02. Fire fund payables requiring council approval, $25,288.37. Debt service payments from the fire fund, $165,985.44. Liquid fuels payables requiring council approval, $205,250.79. Capital improvement fund payables requiring council approval, $50,227.19. Flood mitigation payables requiring council approval, $13,503.79. EMS fund payables requiring council approval, $3,130.13. Purchasing card direct vendor payments, Republic Services, $167,711.05, and miscellaneous borough purchases of $499.61. Total payables to be approved, $1,445,171.57.
Having received Mr. Thomas's report, can we get a motion on the floor to
I'll
accept?
make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Dern,
Second.
second by Mr. Hadley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve the minutes of December 9th and December 17th council meeting minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Dern,
Second.
second by Mr. Doyle. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Recognition of achievements in the community. Mr. Mayor.
Other than some of the things that our police officers have done, the police department, I should say, the past month, I was contacted by some people regarding a family in need here in Plum. I contacted the police department, the chief, the Police Athletic League with their Stuff a Store program, were able to help with toys. 2 detachments from the Marine Corps League. One provided toys for tots, provided additional toys, and the other one provided a complete Christmas dinner. The Police Athletic League, which is the Stuff a Store, provided not only toys, but a decorated tree for the family. The other issue was Chief Conley had contacted the Knights of Columbus from Our Lady of Joy. This family came from California. They didn't have any winter coats. They have a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old. The Knights of Columbus provides coats, but they didn't have them in that size. 2 days later, they gave me coats of the proper size for those kids. So this is a community that pulls together, and there's a prime example of it. The police, the Knights of Columbus, and other organizations were involved. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Civic announcements. Yes, ma'am.
Marilyn Klingensmith, Plum Community Library. Excuse me. For students in grades 1 through 6, since Monday, January 20th is a day off for Plum School District students, consider joining us at the library for a Pause to Read afternoon, Pause, P-A-W-S, from 1 to 2 o'clock. Therapy dogs from Westmoreland Obedience Training Club will be here to listen to you read a story to them. Come prepared with a book. And January's Family Fun Night will be on Wednesday, January 22nd from 6:30 to 7:30. It's going to be a family fitness event, so parents will be included or caregivers with the Fit Kids Factory. Families with children preschool age through grade 6 are invited. Please register for these two events at plumlibrary.org. And last, for adults, on Wednesday, February 5th, in celebration of Black History Month, we will present a Negro Spirituals performance from 6:30 to 7:30. Hilliard Green presents a performance in words and music associated with the Underground Railroad. He has been acclaimed for composing and performing solo contrabass music and has toured throughout North and South America, Europe, and Asia. Formerly musical director for the late jazz vocalist Jimmy Scott in Las Vegas, Mr. Green is now the leader of the Jazz Expressions in New York City. We're thrilled to have him be at the library. Please make reservations online or call 412-798-7323.
Thank you. Any other civic announcements? Seeing none, we'll move on to President's comments. I just have a few things that I'd like to discuss. There's obviously some new faces up here this evening. First and foremost, I do want to thank former council members John Anderson, Dave Majernik, and Dave Seitz for their contributions as councilmen the last 4 years. And then I'd also like to welcome our new council members, Ryan Delaney, Dan Hadley, and Dave Vento. We look forward to their contributions that they'll have as councilmen. We're excited to have them on board, and they've already started working towards not only understanding their respective roles and responsibilities, but interfacing with various members of the community. So we're excited on the things that they're going to do, and we look forward to that. I'd also like to thank our past president, Mr. Now I can't even think of your name, Mr. Doyle. And it's my nerves, right? It's been that long. I'd like to thank you, sir, for all the leadership that you've provided over these years, and also the council that you've provided us in the leadership. So thank you very much for that, sir.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it.
One of the things that we're going to try that's new on the agenda is I kind of discussed with a number of individuals some things relative to getting more exposure on some of the positive things that happen in the community. I came up with this idea of a new agenda item that's called for the good of Plum. And what the good of Plum is basically an opportunity for us to showcase or highlight some of the achievements that individuals from the borough staff have accomplished, or things that we find out that are going on in the community relative to making improvements in the borough, or improving the overall quality of life for residents. And so the first item that I'd like to discuss relative to the good of Plum has to do with the casual dressing program that the borough staff members have. And I want to read a summary of this particular item. In an effort to combine the ability to dress casually on Fridays with the opportunity to make a positive impact, the Plum Boro administrative staff started the Plum Angel Fund that collects money from staff members in exchange for casual Fridays. The money is saved throughout the year to help provide for needy Plum families at Christmas. In their efforts to help more families during the holiday season, donations were also accepted at the Fall Fest for the pony rides and at the carriage ride during the Christmas at Plum Creek. Early in the holiday season, borough staff works with the Plum School District to obtain a wish list from families of students who are going through a financially difficult time. Staff members then shop to make their holiday wishes come true. For one afternoon, the borough conference room turns into the North Pole, where busy elves wrap, tag, and ribbon the gifts. Not only does the Plum Angel Fund help those in need, it encourages team spirit at the workplace, leading to motivation and productivity. Since the start of the Casual Friday program in 2011, they have donated $7,545 to families in need. And I personally like to applaud the effort of our borough staff and thank them for their generosity and dedication in giving back to our community for the good of Plum. Moving on to the manager's report. Mr. Thomas.
I just have a very quick report this evening. As we do every year, we have advertised our monthly meetings for the entire year. The work session is on the first Monday of the month at 7 p.m., the voting meeting the second Monday of the month at 7 p.m. There are two exceptions for 2020. September 7th is Veterans Day. That would be the normal work session. That is moved to Wednesday, September 9th. And also in October, October 12th is Columbus Day, so the voting meeting will be held on October 14th, that following Wednesday. Those are the only two exceptions in 2020. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Citizens' comments on agenda items. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to council actions. First, for the Planning and Economic Development Committee, Mr. Vento.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to approve ordinance number 946-20, establishing the fees associated with borough services, permits, and licenses.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Vento, second by Mr. Dern. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Also, on behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to approve the conditional use request from Dollar General CU-14-19 with the following conditions. The exterior shall be finished on the east and north and southern elevations as recommended by the Planning Commission. The east elevation finish will need to wrap around the front corner of the building also.
Motion by Mr. Vento,
Second.
second by Mr. Hadley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Also, on behalf of the committee, I move to approve preliminary/final land development approval for the Dollar General Store project on Unity Center Road, SP-12-19, lot and block number 852-E-98, contingent upon compliance with the outstanding items identified in the Borough Engineer's updated review letter dated December 10th, 2019, and the modifications recommended by the Planning Commission.
Motion by Mr. Vento,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Doyle. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Also, on behalf of the committee, I move to approve FSC-01-20, the McDade Simple Subdivision as complete.
Motion by Mr. Vento,
I'll second that.
second by Mr. Dern. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Also, on behalf of the committee, I move to adopt resolution number 872-20, supporting House Bill 1775, stormwater facilities on state highways, which would make PennDOT responsible to maintain stormwater drainage facilities on state highways within the borough.
Motion by Mr. Vento,
Seconded.
second by Mr. Dern. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And lastly, I'd like to add to the agenda resolution 873-20, approving the sewage planning module.
We have a motion to add an agenda item, or to add this item to the agenda. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Vento, second by Mr. Dern to add this item to the agenda. Proceed, sir.
You have to ask for public
Oh,
comment before. it can be-
is there any public comment on adding this item to the agenda?
Okay, and that being said, I also now ask for move to approve resolution 873-20.
You have to vote on it.
There's a motion to approve to add to the agenda, so there's a
Right.
motion and a second. Just call for the
All
vote.
those in favor of adding it?
All those in favor of adding this item to the agenda?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'm just so anxious to get done.
It's exciting.
It is exciting, yeah. All right, now, I'd also like to approve the resolution 873-20, approving sewage planning module.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Vento, second by Mr. Doyle. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Vento. On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, Mr. Hadley.
On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to appoint Stephen Bullock to the Library Board for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2022.
Motion by Mr. Hadley.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pastor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to appoint James Rumbaugh to the Municipal Authority for a 5-year term ending December 31st, 2024.
Motion by Mr. Hadley.
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Dern. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to appoint David Seitz to the Planning Commission for a 4-year term ending December 31st, 2023.
Motion by Mr. Hadley.
Second.
Second by Mr. Doyle. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to appoint Michael Babushi, thank you, Mike, to the Planning Commission for a 4-year term ending December 31st, 2023.
Motion by Mr. Hadley.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Vento. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to appoint Michelle Chapkus to the Zoning Hearing Board for a 5-year term ending December 31st, 2024.
Motion by Mr. Hadley.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Vento. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to appoint Paul Freeze to the Vacancy Board for a 1-year term ending December 31st, 2020.
Motion by Mr. Hadley.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Vento. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And that is all.
And that concludes council actions. Moving on to the mayor's report. Mayor Slagle?
Thank you, Mr. Odom. Last month, we had 1,079 calls our police department received. That's about normal. Two other things. We have a new officer who joined us, Eric Brandt. He's already on board, but he can't go patrolling yet because he doesn't have a MOPEC number.
Correct, MOPEC.
Okay. So once he gets that, we'll be able to get him trained and out on patrol. But right now, he's going over policies and procedures. If you happen to see him out there in the car, if you see two officers in the car, one of them is going to be Eric Brandt. So say hi and welcome him to Plum. This is his first full-time position. We've also got new cameras for all of our vehicles, for police vehicles. There'll be 5 cameras offering a 180-degree view when the officer turns on his lights. They will also be tied in with the body cameras that our police officers should start seeing. You should start seeing them on our officers in February. And that's all I have, sir.
Great. Thank you, Mayor. Moving on to committee reports. The Intergovernmental Cooperative Committee with the Plum School District. I believe right now we have not had a meeting, but there is a meeting tentatively scheduled for the 21st of January. That being said, moving on to the Finance Committee. Mr. Doyle.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Finance Committee, general fund highlights for the month of December 2019. The borough recognized revenues totaling $831,814 and incurred expenses in the amount of $1,047,298. The revenues, a total of $64,244 was received under current year real estate tax revenues and are at 100% of the budget. The borough also received $355,408 under earned income tax revenues, and for the year, we are favorable to the budget by approximately $154,000. The deed transfer tax revenue line ended the year at 142% of budget, which is favorable to the budget by $133,000. Unaudited revenues are at 103% of the budget, or approximately $13.61 million. The expenditures through the month of December, the borough has expended 99% of the budget, or approximately $12.96 million. Unaudited expenditures favorable to the budget by $161,800. Now for the good stuff. The projected general fund surplus. Council adopted the budget in 2019 with a budget of $828 surplus, basically a balanced budget. Unaudited surplus projections with known year-end revenues and expenses accruals is approximately $650,000.
That's a $650,000 surplus for fiscal year 2019. As noted earlier, revenues are at 103% of the budget, or favorable by about $487,000. The 2019 independent audit is scheduled to begin on January 14th and will be performed by Meyer Druschel. End of report.
Thank you, sir. It's always good to hear the positive news when it comes to finances in the borough. They're doing a fantastic job, and we're certainly the beneficiaries of that work. Moving on to roads, equipment, and grounds. Mr. Pastor.
Thank you. Project updates, excuse me, for the month of December. The Edgemead Stormwater Project has been completed, and we are holding some retainage on this project for any post-project restoration. Road maintenance, this time of year, there really isn't many road maintenance projects due to the equipment being prepared for winter maintenance. The annual leaf pickup concluded on December 6th, and we collected about 3,300 cubic yards of leaf material. Pothole patching will continue with cold patch throughout the winter months, and we will continue to do stormwater pond maintenance, weather permitting. We've been doing necessary building maintenance on the Public Works garage. We had a total of 85.5 hours of overtime in the month of December due to winter maintenance, and we installed new street signs where necessary. End of report.
Thank you, sir. Public safety, Mr. Dern.
Thank you, Mr. Odom. First, I'd like to extend my sympathies and all of council's sympathies to Jim Sims. A lot of people may not know, but he used to be a police officer here, and he retired, and he's now the acting fire chief at Holiday Park Fire Hall. His mother passed away, so I wish to get open and give him my condolences. And now Mr. Maloney, the Director of Operations from the Plum EMS, has his monthly report. Go ahead, Brian.
Thank you, Councilman Dern. Brian Maloney, Director of Operations, Plum EMS. Congratulations to all of you being here this evening. It's good to see you. I pretty much come every month to just do a quick report, answer any questions that you may have. For the month of December, we ended up responding to 251 calls. Out of that, we ended up transporting 142 patients. We didn't set a record year for 2019, but we stayed busy. We did good. We had some real good patient outcomes. We ended up last month going to neighboring communities for mutual aid services 44 times. 28 of those resulted in patients transported to the hospital. And the need for mutual aid or neighboring services to come into Plum happened 7 times throughout the month of December, which that represented 3.1% of the calls for 911 or emergency calls coming into Plum. So we did pretty good doing that. The crews hustle quite a bit to make sure they turn around from the hospitals. For some of the news going on, along with the mother of Jim Sims, we asked for you to keep in your thoughts and prayers the paramedic who died in the line of duty last weekend. It was very unfortunate. Paramedic Matthew Smeltzer ended up passing away while he was responding to a vehicle wreck with Ross Raver EMS down on Interstate 70. Our job at times can be extremely scary and difficult and dangerous, but it's the kind of thing he was out there, as all of us, trying to help people. So very sad on that. The other thing, between November and December, Plum EMS got to participate with the school district, and each one of their schools participated in their enhanced lockdowns. And it was quite the event to see. As soon as they hit that drill, everyone was in a classroom, and you didn't hear a peep from anybody. I even knocked on doors, tried to see if anybody would let me in, and they didn't. So I was very, very impressed with what the school district is training and practicing on, ranging from the elementary all the way up to the high school. So kudos to that group. I know they've been working hard on that. And then another thing, at the end of this month, residents will be receiving our membership or subscription drives. With that, it's $15 for an individual, $25 for a household, and this helps significantly both the Plum EMS and the patient. In a sense, for the patient, they get 6 free lift assists throughout the year, and if they ever have to utilize EMS and be transported to the hospital, what we do is after we bill insurance, whatever's left outstanding, we end up deducting by 50%. For us, it's integral in the part of our budget because it does help us out significantly. And even this calendar year, we're going to probably have to buy cardiac monitors, and it's $25,000 a piece for a monitor, and we're going to need 4 of them. So we plan on these funds to help assist that. And then the other thing that helps us keep going is the support that we receive from you in the community. We want to thank you because we couldn't and wouldn't be able to do what we do without the help and support from everybody. So thank you for your donations. Thank you for supporting us. We appreciate it. So any questions, comments, gripes, concerns, complaints?
Thank
I
you.
like it. So thank
Thanks,
you.
Brian. That's it, Mr. Odom?
Thank you, Mr. Dern. Planning and Economic Development, Mr. Vento.
Thank you, Mr. President. This will be mercifully short. Just a financial summary, the borough had a total of 41 permits issued in December for a total of $2,930.50 of revenue for the community that we didn't all know we were having, so it's always a good thing. Also, I've talked with Mr. Sabosley, and we're going to get the meeting together with the rest of the committee members about the for Economic Development Committee report. Were you able to come up with one day?
I think we were recommending Thursday, January the 30th.
Okay. Everybody all right with that? Okay, Thursday, January 30th will be the first meeting of the Economic Development Committee. And also, I just want to say that we will be having our Stormwater Task Force meeting next week here at the borough, and hopefully we'll have some good things to report, at least maybe just some progress reports at the next council meeting. So look forward to that, and thank everybody in advance for volunteering to be on that committee. And I'm sorry we can't have everybody that volunteered, but we're going to get a good representation from the community. So keep you updated. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Vento. Finally, Parks and Recreation, Mr. Delaney.
At Larry Mills Park, we worked on the walkway that's being installed by the Playground Pavilion. The work will continue as the weather allows. We just had that Christmas event at Plum Creek Park. Most of the trash and debris has all been picked up, although you might see some decorations there. We also had a bonfire event there where they built an area for everybody to roast marshmallows, and we had some high school students provide entertainment. And Logan's Ferry Park and Renton Park, we're still in the bidding phase of the project. We're looking at final designs, and we'll continue to give you updates as the progress moves forward. And one of the items that everybody keeps wanting to hear about is the dog park. I still don't have an opening date. We're still waiting from the county, but all the work at this point has been completed. So we have to finally be getting close. All park bathrooms have been closed for the season. Please remember, when you're using the parks during the off-season, things can be quite slippy. And that's it. That's all. Yeah, nothing important. We're good.
Thank you, Mr. Delaney. Moving on to upcoming meetings. The Planning Commission will meet on January 20th at 6:30. And as Mr. Vento indicated, the Stormwater Task Force will meet January 23rd at 6:30. Next will be citizen comments on non-agenda items. We did have one person sign up.
Yay, another packet.
It's supposed to be purple. Where's the purple?
Thank you.
This one will be much easier to find.
Need sunglasses.
Thank you.
Ah, the census.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm Trish Meek from 4320 New Texas Road, and I just have to say, the reason I'm here is because I'm a planner and I'm a data geek. So that's why I'm asking that you consider some of this. So the U.S. Census has been conducted every 10 years since 1790. An accurate census count is essential. It not only determines the number of seats in the U.S. House of Representatives for each state, the data collected is also used to distribute billions of federal dollars every year. Governments, businesses, nonprofits, and others also rely on this data to allocate funds, deliver services, evaluate programs, and forecast future needs. I was disappointed to find out from staff last year that Plum does not have a census complete count committee to get the word out to our citizens about how important responding to the census is to our community related to funding. The census only comes around once every 10 years, and it is critical that Plum find ways to educate the public on the importance of responding. Please consider these low-cost approaches to educate the public. Include census information such as the attached flyer in municipal water and sewer bills. And I'll just note that that attachment was prepared by the Pennsylvania State Data Center, so they're a great resource. They're trying to get the word out, but they can't get to everybody on the local level. Record a Plum Boro TV segment on the importance of responding to the census. Promote the census at borough meetings and events. Use Savvy Citizen to alert citizens when the forms are mailed and a reminder to respond. Identify hard-to-count areas and develop strategies to increase participation. If you go to the State Data Center website, you can actually click on census blocks, and it'll tell you from a historical perspective what is the anticipated rate of response. So if you wanted to target areas that aren't responding, it gives you the ability to do that. There's great data out there. Work with nonprofits on the importance of the census and ask them to reach out to their constituent groups. And work with the school district to determine if there are avenues for them to promote the census. School districts also have a lot at stake related to funding distributed by formula. And the reason I say this is many of the programs that I work on from a federal level, population is a major factor. So if we get more people counted, we get more money for those programs. Now, in 2015, the U.S. government distributed more than $675 billion in federal funds. Pennsylvania received nearly $26.8 billion in federal funding towards programs like Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP, CHIP, and WIC, as well as grants for education and highway construction. That's equal to over $2,000 per citizen in PA. With $2,000 per citizen per year at stake, it is extremely important to get the word out to our citizens and be part of the process. So it's not a small amount of money or representation. So every person that's not counted, it's significant to our municipality. So the PA State Data Center can help Plum by providing mapping, historic data trends, and information on hard-to-count areas. This information can actually make outreach very meaningful. And then if you're interested, there's additional information on the 2020 census on the PA State Data Center website. So if you click there, you can get a lot of information about things to do. And I bring this to you as somebody that works on this in my professional life, being involved in these kinds of committees. I know that Allegheny County formed one, and I believe that the city of Pittsburgh did as well. And for the amount of staff time that it takes, it's insignificant to the potential return from financial gain to the municipality.
Great, thank you. That's fantastic information. And it sounds like, given that the census is going to occur in April, right?
April 1.
We've got some time to get that information out. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Any more citizen comments on non-agenda items? No one else signed up, but I certainly won't prevent anyone from coming up if they'd like to speak. Okay, seeing none, that'll end citizen comments on non-agenda items. We will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Doyle and seconded by Mr. Vento. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are now adjourned.